It's been a while, but we're back, baby. Show and Tell,
Season 2.
Episode 1. What is the best season of Power Rangers? Find out.
After this. Let's do this, Steve.
It's time for the show. What show, you ask?
Show and Tell.
That's right, guys. Show and Tell is back from its fairly long hiatus, but Season 2 is here, and we are raring to go with a slightly modified format. What changes are in store, sir?
We're only going to get 3 minutes to make our plea on what's the better choice.
Correct.
Any more like that, we got a time crisis buzzer. No more talking.
Yep. So similar to our Review 180, we are now doing 3-minute segments, and today's episode is, what is the best season of Power Rangers? You want to go first or second?
I'm going to go second, Steve.
All right. So my 3-minute timer starts right now as I tell you the best season of Power Rangers, which is clearly, boop, Season 2 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Shocked. Wow, couldn't believe you picked that one.
Hey, I only got 3 minutes here. So, let me just dig into this for you. So, a lot of people who know me might think I would have picked Season 1. You know, it's the birth of the Green Ranger, how all that comes into play, the start of what is one of the greatest sagas in all of pop culture, the Power Rangers. Season 2, though, takes everything that Season 1 did and cranks it up to 11. It's better in every single regards. Let's start with the villain. Rita Repulsa is great, but probably the most iconic villain in all of Power Rangers is Lord Zed. And I don't mean the dumbed down version of Lord Zed late in Season 2 and Season 3. I'm talking about the scary, give me nightmares, there's actual fluid running through my veins, we don't know what's going to happen, this guy seems horrifically evil, Lord Zed, from the first 80% of Season 2, before the parents complained. We have arguably the best Zords. Granted, the most iconic is the original Dinozords, but the Thunder Zords were just so awesome. They were more powerful versions of the original Zords, and they have far and away the best cockpit of any season of Power Rangers. And don't knock the cockpits, because they're important, because that's a set piece. When you zoom in on that chess piece and you have that big, powerful cockpit that the Rangers are, messing around in for several minutes of each episode, that's an important set piece. The music, inarguably, the best musical score of any season of Power Rangers. The tracks by Ron Wasserman, everything from Go Green Ranger Go to 541 to Fight to We Need a Hero to I Will Win, it's all iconic. And when those tracks came on, your heart started to pound. It started to race. I don't know what happened come Zeo when the music fell apart to that garbage background music, but the music in Season 2 and Season 3 of Power Rangers was, it was beautiful. The story arcs in that season were amazing. The Green Ranger losing his powers, Jason fighting extremely hard to try to save Tommy and failing. You felt awful when Jason failed. How often, especially in superhero kids TV shows, does the hero fail? Jason failed. The Green Ranger lost his powers. The White Light story arc, where the two-parter, where you're stressed out because there's going to be a new White Ranger, and it turns out to be Tommy. That as a kid, that really tugged at your heartstrings, and you were excited when you saw Jason David Frank come out. And, of course, who can forget my personal favorite rationale? Without a doubt, the best out-of-costume, unmorphed fighting sequences in every season of Power Rangers. Amazing fight sequences.
And you're up.
I'm done. I got it all out anyway, so it's okay. So now we will reset the timer. And
Thanks, Steve.
Jesse's failed... Probably should have something to stand this up a little bit better. Jesse's failed rationale begins as he says... Let me know when you're ready there. No problem
Thank
here.
you. I had my phone on pocket mode.
All right, ready? And your pick for the best season of Power Rangers is... Go.
Power Rangers in Space. Simply. Power Rangers in Space. Arguably the greatest season of Power Rangers of all time. Strong emotional story arcs. It had a crossover with the Ninja Turtles. Let's bring that up. It concluded the Zordon era. We all remember that. And it did something for Power Rangers that we take for granted. And we don't even realize it. It's something Marvel did. It widened the universe. It explained that there was more out there than what we've seen. It was not just a show that took place on Earth. We now know that there's other alien forces, races that we could be at war with. And it had returning characters. Do you remember the episode when Adam returned? I do. It was amazing. We had characters that had actual story arcs. I love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I do. It was great for the franchise. But even Steve's got to admit that these teenagers were just great at everything. Everything worked out for them. They were fantastic. They could play sports. They could jet ski. They could ride motocross. They could parachute. They could do everything. I need my characters with a little bit of a flaw, and that's what Power Rangers Space brought in. When Carlos was so stressed out that he felt like he couldn't even be a ranger anymore, and it took a returning ranger like Adam to talk him into keeping the black power. And one of the coolest things about it was no mentor. There was no Zordon, no Alpha to go to. The Rangers had to come up with the answers on their own. That was the first season to do that. They were left on their own to figure things out. But what I really, really, really like about that show, more than the story arcs, the characters, everything so amazing about it, is it really made you look at good and evil. Astronema, she was raised evil, so that's why she was evil. But was she really evil? I mean, it went back and forth with these characters of, are you born evil? Is it what you're taught? Are you good inherently? And it wasn't black and white anymore. Zed was great, but Zed was evil. There was no depth to Zed. He was just evil. That was it.
Evil and scary.
But Astronema, there was depth. But I want to say something with my last few seconds. Power Rangers in Space saved the franchise. And this franchise has been running 28 years. And if it wasn't for the success of Power Rangers in Space, so successful that the very next season, which wasn't even meant to be a space opera, got changed into a space opera. Power Rangers in Space single-handedly saved that franchise. So no matter what you say, Mighty Morphin might have started it, Mighty Morphin Season 2 might have made it even cooler, but In Space saved the franchise. And I got a few seconds left, so I'm going to say one thing that Mighty Morphin didn't have that Space did. We had Zane, and Zane was the Lando Calrissian of Power Rangers.
Zane was super annoying.
You wish. And that's about it, except for it is amazing.
Okay, so that concludes our two segments, and our arguments are now complete. So now we are going to vote on who we think had the better argument, and then in the event of a draw, it will go to the comments of the video. So since I went first, I will go first in the vote. Let me start with this. So I am happy that you at least picked a season from the Zordon era. Thank you for that, because it is by far superior. Superior to all of the Disney stuff, all the Neo Saban stuff. The Zordon era of Power Rangers was by far the best, and the OG. Now, that being said, there are other good seasons, etc. But your rationale was fine. However, the nail in the coffin, in my opinion, for you, was not once, but 2 times did you use this as rationale for why Space was so good and in good examples. You said the return of a hero and story arcs where people like Carlos have emotional problems. Both times you referred to Adam. And what season did he come into the show? Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it's almost like Space was like, yo, we need to put something, inject something super dope into this season to make people love it. Why not bring back a fan favorite character who premiered in the best season of Power Rangers? My vote is, of course, Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You did a good job, but it does not defeat my pick. Jesse?
Well, Steve, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I'm really glad you picked Season 2 and not just the first.
I thought you were going to go with me, okay?
First Mighty Morphin season, because, I feel like some people would just have picked that because it started it. And I agree. I brought up Adam, and Adam came from Season 2, and that's really cool. But like The Godfather 2, Space is just a sequel with returning characters. A sequel that outshined the first movie. And that's what Space did. It was a sequel season that outshined Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3. And all the other seasons that came before it. So, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to go with In Space. And by the way, you want to talk about music? Yeah, you had all those cool show songs, but In Space had Rangers in Space.
That was a cool theme song. That was definitely a cool
Yes.
theme song.
So
Okay, guys.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to go In Space. But with that being said, I'll talk Power Rangers all day, buddy.
All right. So, guys, the first episode of Season 2 of Show and Tell ends in a draw, which means we're going to kick it down into the comment section.
Ooh.
Whoever comments down below, and whichever one gets the more votes for which was better of the two, will be the clear-cut winner for who or for which season of Power Rangers was the best.
A lot of bragging in Discord.
So, guys, for Show and Tell, a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are appearing right there. I did it again. This has been Show and Tell after quite the hiatus. I'm Steve,
Still Jesse.
and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Season 2 is going to be even better.